This is the Chester County Real Estate Podcast, bringing you the info you need to make your next move a great one. This show is brought to you by RE/MAX Ace Realty. For show notes and links, go to acerealtypa.com/podcast.
Hey guys, Sean Dominski here, and this is the Chester County Real Estate Podcast. This is the show that gives you the information you need to make your next move a great one. And this week, I just want to go over a little bit of the data and the information that I'm seeing in the market and give you an idea of what the numbers really look like here in Chester County. So you might have heard, you might have seen some national news headlines and statistics with various percentages and numbers, but I really want to stress it's really your local market that matters when it comes to real estate. Now, the data and the news that I'm bringing you here today, I'm not going to say whether it's good or bad, because really this is going to depend on your personal situation. This is going to depend on what kind of loan you're getting, how much money you're putting down, what you're looking for, and what your area specifically is doing right now. Even within Chester County, different areas have different desirability and different levels of demand than others. Different types of houses in different areas have different levels of demand. And we're not going to get down to that too much of a granular level. I just want to kind of go through first. We're going to look at the market activity this past week to give you an idea of what's going on as far as listings coming on the market and listings coming off the market. And then we're going to look at how that's affecting the price and how this October looked a little bit different than last year's October in 2021. Let me pull up my screen here. So the first thing I want to do is just go through some of the market activity that we're seeing in the Chester County, in Pennsylvania. So if we look at this is going to cover the part of Pennsylvania within the Bright MLS footprint. So all the agents in Chester County, pretty much all of them use Bright MLS. This is our main MLS, and this is where I'm pulling the data from for this. So last week in this whole area of Pennsylvania, in the footprint, we saw new closed sales compared to a year ago are down 31.2%. New purchase contracts is down 33.6%. New listings is down only 18%. New pendings per 100 new listings is down 19.2%. And showings are down by 31.7%. So if you look at this, the amount of closed sales and the amount of showings is down at pretty much at the same amount. That's putting, and I want to pay attention to this new pendings per 100 new listings. So this is basically a ratio that for every 100 homes that come on the market, the question is how many went off the market or went pending in the MLS. So first, weekly new closed listings. So closing levels landed at 68.8% compared to the same week last year in October 2021. We're also looking at 65.9% compared to 2020 and 67.8% compared to 2019. If you want to look at that visually, take a look at this bar graph or this line graph here. The orange line is the 2020 numbers. The light blue is the orange is 2022, the gray is 2019, the dark blue is 2021, and the light blue is 2020. I did it in that order because if you follow the orange line out to last week, which was the end of last week, which was October 30th, you'll see that it's significantly lower than all three of the previous years, with 2020 being the highest. Now, on this particular graph, you're going to see a lot of peaks and valleys, and that's because at the peaks is pretty much going to be the end of the month, because this is going week by week, and at the end of the month, you're going to have more closings than you will at the beginning of the month. So whether you look at the peaks or the valleys, you can kind of ascertain a little bit of a trend going on there. And the trend has remained fairly consistent, though we do see a breakaway in the last 3 to 4 months or so, as opposed to the beginning of the year. So if you look back around February 220, 36, those numbers were fairly close, and now they're starting to diverge pretty significantly. Here's the new purchase contracts. New purchase contracts came in at 66.4% of the same week as last year, the same week as last year in 2021. Again, follow the orange line. Now, there's not as many peaks and valleys on this because people are making offers all throughout the month. But we can see that in this past week was lower than the previous 3 years, the same week the previous 3 years. As I scroll down to weekly new listings, you're going to see that yes, if you follow the orange line, it is starting to trend towards as we move into the winter market. It is less than the others, but it's not as big of a gap as previous weeks in the year. You'll see this big gap with the light blue line around, let's see here, April 3rd to May 1st. That was the lockdown. It was literally, we were told we weren't even allowed to show houses then. So you were going to see a lot of less listings come on the market. You saw a lot of a lot less houses go off the market. So we can see that lockdown represented in the graph in 2020. So here's the data that I kind of want you to pay attention to. This is the ratio of new pendings to new listings. So for every 100 new listings, how many new pendings we have. And here for this past week, there were 97 new pending sales for every 100 new listings in Pennsylvania. So I don't want to I'm trying to avoid the jargon, but basically for every 100 homes that came on the market, 97 went off this past week. And this is actually maintained. It's down a little bit from last year, but it's been maintained for a good majority of the year. That line seems pretty flat. And then finally, we have the weekly showings. Here you're going to see a huge dip in 2020, the light blue line there, or tealish green line. And that was, again, when people weren't even allowed to go see houses. But if you look at the orange line, which is the 2022 numbers, you're going to see that it is significantly down from this week, the past 3 years. Give you an idea that showing activity is lower and showing activity is down. But if the new listings are also down, we're going to see a stabilization as far as the lesser showing activity with lesser new listings. And so I'm going to flip over to how is that actually affecting the prices in the market? So this data right here, I just put up a search of all the closed sales in Chester County in the month of October. The part that you really want to pay attention to is if you look under statistical summary and look down a little bit, you want to look at the line that says median. So the median price is if you listed, I don't know if you remember this from elementary school, but average is when you add everything together and you multiply it by the number of numbers. Median is when you list everything in a row from ascending to descending, and you find that middle one right there. So it's the middle price, basically. It's not affected if there's one $15 million house that's going to throw an average off. That's only going to represent one in the median. Talk to a fifth grader if you don't remember that from math class there. Anyway, so the median original list price, this is in October. This is from the month of October in 2021. So from 10/1/21 to 10/31/21. The median original list price was $424,825. And it was higher than the previous list price, which would be $420,000, because we saw homes going for above asking. The days on market, the median days on market was 6 days per market, and we had 100.2% sold price to original price. So it was just slightly, so homes were going for slightly above asking. If we flip over to this past October 2022, we're going to see that the median original list price actually went up. So previously we were at $424,825. If I flip back, now we're at $465,000. Now, that's actually significantly lower than the previous list price. So we're actually seeing a lot more price reductions. But this, to me, says that that's just a year's worth of sales, and home sellers are just raising the prices, starting a little bit higher. It doesn't necessarily mean that the market's moving a whole lot. It just means that the initial asking price it has been a little bit inflated. It's not much, but the days on market, the median days on market has gone up by 1. So we're looking at 7 as opposed to last year, which was 6. And we're seeing a sold price to the original price at 100%. So basically, we're still seeing homes sell around asking, but it's a little bit lower than last year. So that's the data as I'm seeing it, and I tried to give you an idea of where I got that information from. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. You can contact me here at RE/MAX Ace Realty. You can find any of our agents here at acerealtypa.com. And like I said before, this information isn't necessarily good or bad. It's all going to depend on your personal situation and what you're looking to do with your next move. My recommendation is to find a licensed realtor who's part of the Realtors Association, and you can find a bunch of experts in whatever area or demographic or whatever area or type of home that you're looking for. Right here at RE/MAX Ace Realty, you can find us at acerealtypa.com. I hope that helps. Just going to give you some of the data, and if you have any questions, let us know. I'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening. This has been the Chester County Real Estate Podcast, brought to you by RE/MAX Ace Realty, serving buyers and sellers in the Chester County area. Subscribe for new episodes at acerealtypa.com/podcast. And you can find us on Facebook, YouTube, and wherever podcasts are found.